Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Well, let's carry on with our passive lesson. So have a look at these examples here. So Peter used bribery in business, and the bribery is used in business. Is there a difference between these two sentences? Yes, of course. So in sentence number one, the subject of the sentence here, which is in this case people, does the action. And the action is indicated by the verb, of course. So I'm saying people use bribery in business. So the subject of the sentence does the action to the object here, if I can say. So in sentence number one, it is the subject of the sentence who performs the actions, who performs the action, who does the action, and the action is indicated by the verb, and the object here receives the action. He receives the action or is acted upon. So that's why we call it an active sentence. But in sentence number two, I am saying bribery is used in business. So I don't mention the doer of the action here. I don't mention it. See, so all my focus, so the focus here is on the action itself. The doer is not important for me. So we say what is important here is bribery is used. So in sentence number two, the doer of the action is not mentioned. So we don't know who does the action in sentence number two. So the action itself is important. So all the focus is on the action itself. And that's why we call it a passive sentence, of course. Then you may ask a question and you say, why don't we mention the doer, of course, in the passive? We don't mention it for many reasons. For instance, I give you some. Number one, maybe it is obvious. Everybody knows who does that. So we don't want to mention that. Everybody knows it. Or it is not important for the author. It is not important to mention the doer of the action. Or it is unknown, of course. We don't know who. Now, sometimes we can mention it if it is necessary for the meaning of the sentence, of course. Sometimes we can mention the agent if it is necessary for the meaning. For instance, let's say someone might say, who practiced bribery? By whom? So we say X or Y and so on and so on, Peter or James. So we mention the and say by Peter, by James, by X and Y. If we mention the agent, because the subject of the active becomes an agent in the passive, as we said. So if we mention it, we must always put it at the end of the sentence, like this. So we must always put it at the end of the sentence to avoid having a problem or making mistakes, especially when we have longer sentences. Now, if you remember, I told you to use this small plan here whenever you want to transform from active to passive. So this is the active sentence here. This is the form. You've got subject, verb, and object here, whether it is direct or indirect. Now, my passive is here. So this is my form of the passive. So usually it's like this. So the object here becomes the subject. See? Then the subject here becomes the agent placed at the end of the sentence. And it is preceded by, preposition here, by. Okay? Then concerning, sorry for the error. So concerning the verb, so I must use to be in the passive, plus the past participle of the active verb, and the RS here, it is the rest of the sentence. So if it is a long sentence, so you finish your sentence and then you mention your agent. I hope it's clear. I took some examples for you, the simple tenses, of course, and some other examples which I think they are very important. Now, concerning your present simple passive, if we take this example here, people practice corruption everywhere. Now, what is the object here? Remember we said we ask the question with what? So if we ask the question, we say, what do people practice everywhere? What do they practice everywhere? So my answer is corruption. So this is my object here. Then I start with it and I say, corruption is, why did I use is here? Why did, sorry, I use is? Because corruption is singular. So corruption is practiced everywhere. If you want to mention the agent, you can say by people, of course. Now, my present passive is formed like this. Am, is, are, plus the past participle of the verb. Concerning the past simple, the coronavirus killed many people. Once again, if you want to ask the question with what you say, what did the coronavirus kill? So my answer is many people, not many, not just people left. So we've got many people. So this is my object here. So we say many people were killed. So I used were here because it is a plural by the virus. Concerning the future simple, the example is the experts. So the experts will find the cure. What is the object here? Cure, of course. Answer your question. So we say, what will the expert find? My answer is a cure. So we say, a cure will be found. So in the future simple, you've got will plus to be plus the past participle of the verb. Example number 4, with a model, of course. If you have got a model in the sentence, now have a look at this example here. The boy can do this exercise. What is the object here? It is this exercise. Ask the question, then we say, what can the boy do? So my answer is this exercise. So we say, this exercise can be done by the boy. So if you've got a model in the sentence, can, must, may, might, and so on. So in the passive, so you are going to use the model plus to be plus the past participle of the verb. I think it's clear. Now, sometimes you are going to find verbs like this one here, often. So in English, some verbs can have two objects. They are called doubly transitive verbs or detransitive verbs. So the company offered him, this is one, a good job too. So you've got one direct object and one indirect object. What is the direct object here? So we ask the question with what, and we say, what did the company offer him? What did the other company offer him? So my answer is a good job. So a good job is the direct object in this case. Okay? Now, actually the sentence is like this. Normally it should be like this. The company offered a good job to him. See? To here, to him. And then we omitted to here. And then we put the indirect object before the direct object, and we obtained the sentence, the company offered him a good job. Now, suppose you've got this in your back exam, or in your term exam, or in the exam. If the examiner doesn't underline him, and he doesn't underline a good job, so you choose anyone. You can start with anyone. But if the examiner underlines him, so you must start with him in the passive. If he underlines a good job, so you must start with a good job in the passive. So you should be very careful. Now, how do we transform the sentence here? Number one, you can start with your direct object, of course, and you can say, a good job was offered, but have a look at it here, to him. A good job was offered to him. See, started with direct object, used to in this case. Or If you want to start with the indirect object, you got a problem here. Him here is a personal pronoun object. Why object? Subject, verb, object. There the company offered him. And we said it is an indirect object. So in order to put the passive, to put the sentence in the passive, you are going to transform or to change this pronoun here into a personal pronoun subject. That's why you should know your personal pronoun object and your personal pronoun subject. So to transform the sentence here, him is changed into he. And I say, he was offered a good job. If I had here her, I would use she. If I had them, I would use that. They, sorry. And if I have name, if I had possibly say Peter, the company offered Peter, then I say Peter, of course. So you should be very careful with this. But sometimes you are going to find sentences, special sentences like this one. Special sentence in the sense that they don't have this normal structure of the ordinary active sentence as we know it, of course, subject, verb, direct, object. So some sentence like this one here, for instance, people say, people know, people think. And you've got consider. People say, people know, people think, people consider that the corona is dangerous. So these kind of sentences here can have two passive forms. You can start with it, and you say, it is. Why is here? Because people say. It is a simple present here. So we say, it is, and then you put the past participle of the verb you have in the active sentence. Let's say you go say, it is sad. If it is know, it is known. If it is think, it is thought. If it is considered, it is considered. And then you finish your sentence. It is said, it is known, it is thought, it is considered that the corona is dangerous. Or you can start with the word which comes after that. In this case, it is the corona. Sometimes you may have you can have a pronoun, sometimes you can have a name. James, for instance. It depends. So in this case, you start with the corona and you say, the corona is sad, the corona is known, the corona is thought, the corona is considered to be dangerous. Infinitive, to be dangerous. And my last example is, I call it the example 0, of course. So have a look at this active here. What they went to London yesterday. Can you put it in the passive here? Of course you cannot. Why? Because you don't have an object here. They went and you don't have an object here. So no object, no passive.